Hello and welcome to Insight with Lesley. My name is Lesley Pazdzioch. It's a pleasure to have you join me in this video. In this video I wanted to talk about, living our lives from the inside out and what that means to myself, but also to more clarify it, because I've been asked several times, what exactly does that mean? And for me it means living my personal inner truth and utilizing the divine guidance that we all have, this innate within us. It's one of the gifts that we have, in conjunction with the talents that we came here as soulful beings to live the best life, to grow in our own souls, but also contributing to the betterment of ourselves as well as humanity. And, people say, well, what do you mean we're born with talents and gifts? Have you ever, what and how to discover those? And we'll take that that topic up in the next video. But first, I really think it's important for people to understand that deep within us, we have certain gifts and certain talents. Not only do we have free will, which is one of our innate gifts, but we have divine guidance, and we have spiritual guides that watch over us. And people might agree or disagree, but look back in our lives, we all can do it. You can look back and say, I don't know how that happened. That was such a miracle. How do people lift cars? And how do you avoid things? Something just appears out of nowhere and guides you through it and really saves us, and we hear about it many of times. And that's what I mean about the divine guidance that we have. And I think that so much of humanity in general, we just don't know, and we're not truly aware of how this relationship can really help us throughout our lifetime. And it took me years. It took me my whole lifetime 40 years to really start figuring out, how does this work? People say, well, I'm not religious, well, I'm not spiritual, or I'm not this or that, and it's not about that. It's not about being spiritual, it's not about being religious. It's about creating a connection and a relationship within yourself, with yourself, your higher self, and your divine guidance. Your divine guidance, we're not here with predetermined lives. Living from the inside out means co-creating with our divine guidance. It means that whatever it is that we came here with free will, whatever it is that we choose to do or to create, if it's in alignment with the betterment of humanity and ourselves, utilizing our own individual gifts and talents, then your wishes, it's not a genie, and I don't like to think of it as a genie, but they make it so that they clear your path. And that's living from the inside out. It's living in honesty and integrity, going through your challenges, facing your fears, really growing from all of your experiences, the experiences that are enjoyable and the experiences that are more challenging. And I'll tell you, one of the greatest challenges that I ever had in my entire life, well, second. First one was understanding who God was, understanding what God was, what it was all about. Why are we here? That was my biggest challenge. But the second challenge was in a life experience that I had right around 40. And it's one of those moments when divine just kind of scoops you up and sets you in a much safer place. And those are the moments when you know that the divine exists. And that's when you start looking on the inside and saying, who am I? Why am I here? What is this about? And it's living from the inside out, living your truth, being honest with yourself and honest with others, and doing what you know is right for you, as well as others. An example of this would be, not taking on other people's behaviors or other people's responsibilities that are theirs to take on themselves. Because when we take on other people's things, such as that hinders our own personal growth, because they didn't learn and we didn't learn that that's really none of our business. But living from the inside out is so essential to just be truthful. Explore the world. Create that relationship with your divine guidance. Because let me tell you, when you have that relationship with your divine guides, and you can feel them, and they guide you, and they say, Lesley, if it's in alignment of your divine path, if it's in the alignment of your purpose, let me pave the way. But if it's not in alignment with my divine purpose, they don't pave the way. It makes it much more difficult. And all we have to do is ask. You can ask through prayers. You can ask through whichever, just have a conversation. I call it sit down and have a conversation with yourself. Get to know yourself. Introduce yourself to yourself. Introduce yourself to what it is that you want. Introduce yourself to that you know which guides you. Your inner truth, your wholeness, your superpower. I like to think of it. That's your superpower. And, we're never alone. For so many years, I personally felt so alone and so lonely because it was just me. And, my family had all passed away, and, my kids were grown, and it just thought, what's my purpose? What is my purpose? And it's when you start really asking those questions and you start looking at the possibilities that life opens up, and you realize when you start seeing these synchronicities occurring in your life, it's an amazing experience. Challenges aren't so challenging. You begin to overcome your fears. Life gets to be a lot different. So I want to encourage you to really sit down, perhaps this weekend, tonight if you have time, or over the weekend, and introduce yourself to yourself. Really ask yourself, who are you? And what do you want? What do you want in life? How can you contribute to the betterment of your own soul and all of humanity, and connect to your divine guidance? If you're utilizing your free will, you should be utilizing your divine guidance as well, because it's part of our gifts from God, from our Creator. So I encourage you to really take a deep dive into yourself, find all those really great talents, those really amazing gifts that make you that nobody else has. Because that's when you're going to find your joy, and you're going to be living from the inside out and discovering your life purpose.